What's up everybody, and thank you for joining me for another video. My name is Whack4863, but you can call me Whack. So, I finally had a chance to watch the dev live stream for the Age of War that's coming to Conan Exiles, and I'm actually on the test live branch already because I didn't have time to take a look at the live stream yesterday due to some unfortunate things going on in my life. But I've had a chance to watch that, make some notes, and put those things together so that I can bring you this information straight from the test live server. So, without further ado, I know you guys wanted this video sooner, but let's dive into it. So as you can see, they've added a dive function or a dive animation, so you can jump and then press crouch right after you jump, and that will allow you to dive into bodies of water. You can also do this onto land, but I don't recommend it because if you do it from a great height, you will end up splattering on the ground once you get there. But it is kind of fun to just do this while you're running around. You can just jump and dive and roll to the next area. So I expect to see a lot of people doing this around the map. It's good fun, and let's get into some of the other big things that have changed with the Age of War update. One of the most notable things here is the addition of the treasure coffer. So this will allow you to bring back precious items and place them in this chest and around the area of this chest in order to fill up your treasure. Now, it's been said that this total will affect the purge that you get later on. We're not getting the purge update in this first chapter. I think they said later in chapter 2 or chapter 3 we'll see the change to the purge, and it's all going to be based on this coffer. It'll be interesting to see how they change the conversion trap that's on the Isle of Sipta, whether that will change to something else with this update to the purge, because that was a purge related item and it's not going to really do what the coffer does. The coffer is going to replace that. So depending on how much money you have in here will depend on what style of purge you get in a later chapter. So what you can do now is go around, get all this precious money, and be prepared for the update when we get that purge. I think you can also avoid this entirely so that you don't get the purge, but we'll have to see how that plays out in the future. Now, there are items spread around the exiled lands in the Isle of Sipta like this Durketo cat, which are very valuable items. You can see if I go in here, this Durketo cat by itself is worth 2,500 gold. In order to place that, you just bring it next to the coffer and you click, and it will show you where the area is that you can place that item for it to count as part of your treasure. They are also adding clan emblems, so you can come in here and change your emblem to whatever you want, and that can be placed on banners or shields to display your clan sigil. Now, I did have to make a clan in order to place this bench. It would not allow me to place it without being in a clan, so that's something that you will have to make sure you do, even if you're playing in solo. There have been changes to the target lock system, so you can now target different areas on big enemies. You can see just by moving my mouse back and forth, it will go to different spots on this enemy. You can also see that the hit points have been changed on the enemies. You can see this dragon only has 8,265 hit points. And the reason for that is that there have been massive stamina changes. So you can see I have 212 stamina, but as I go through my heavy attack combo here, it drains all of my stamina. Now, you do regen stamina very quickly. However, I do currently have a almost full grit build. You can see I have 15 in grit there, and I also have some stamina related armor going on. So stamina changes are very, very big. However, you are doing a lot more damage than you were before. I'm not sure exactly how much, but you are doing more damage with your weapons, but it is costing you more stamina to pull off those attacks. Additionally, with all of your heavy attacks, you are going to put a status effect on the enemy. So the enemy will receive a status effect for every single heavy attack. So if before you used to get a status effect on the third or the fourth attack, you are now getting that status effect with every single attack. So that is a good change. You're going to be able to stack those status effects very quickly. Durability has changed. If you look at the katana there, you can see there's a red space on that bar. That means that's the amount of durability that cannot be brought back by repairing it. That durability is gone for good. So you will be finding yourself swapping weapons much more often than you were before, because eventually they will break entirely. So remember to throw those things in the dismantle bench once they reach the lowest durability that you feel comfortable using, and then you can get those resources back in order to craft a replacement item. They've also made some changes to aggro. So if I run up here, I should only be able to get some of these guys to come, even though I'm this close to that guy. Oh, there he comes. Okay, so 3 at a time is what I think they said was about normal for what's going to actually engage with you. So as we run up here, we still have 3 following. Here we get a 4th. Now, I'm not sure, I can't remember exactly and entirely if they said that the change to the aggro and the leashing was all coming with this update, or if some of that was coming a little bit later on. But you can see that aggro has changed somewhat. There's actually another enemy here, and you can get pretty close to these things before they actually take aggro on you. So I'm actually right up to this guy, and you can see I'm doing an absolute ton of damage. I'm one-shotting a lot of these enemies, lower level enemies, with a single heavy strike. And I should be able to pretty close to one-shot this guy with a light strike. So you can see I just did 63 damage to him, and then this guy's got 120, and if I can actually hit, and it just took him out with a single heavy strike. So even though the stamina has been changed, you are dealing a lot more damage than you were in the previous version of the game. So it feels pretty balanced so far. I know I'm going to end up screaming about stamina, at least as I get used to this update. But that's pretty natural for me. I'm screaming about stamina in the game as it is. So that's really not going to change. It's just going to be a different kind of play style, I think, as things progress and come through. I'm just going to have to get used to the way that stamina works going forward. I can say I really like the regeneration, because as I'm running along here, all I have to do is let up and I'm full stamina again. So you're going to be able to run a lot in this game now, because your stamina is just going to automatically fill up while you're running. I feel like this is mostly going to affect the PvP players. I think a lot of those interactions and fights kind of go like this, where they're running along, they get 1 or 2 attacks in, and then they're running again. So it's really going to change those PvP fights for running away and running into combat. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the PvP world. I think one of the things that many of you may want to know about is, like, where do I find these different treasures? So you can see there's actually I don't know what's going on there. There's 2 of them stacked side by side there. So let's go ahead and pick one up. I'm going to put my weapon away, and you can see I now have to carry this back to my base like this. So you're going to need to clear everybody out. Let me ungod so I can actually take a hit and show you what happens if you're carrying it along and you get hit. I'm just going to hold on to it there, I guess. Let me roll, and that's going to get rid of it. So rolling, jumping, I think even switching to your weapon. Let's see, if I go pick this up, interact with it, and then I switch to my weapon, yeah, I instantly drop it. So that's something to keep in mind, is you're going to want to clear out areas before picking these up. Because if you end up getting into a conflict and you're walking this back, you're just going to take hits. You're going to sponge hits. And I believe you're supposed to actually drop this if you get hit, even though it's staying in my hand. I think that's a bug. I don't think you're supposed to be able to hold on to this while you are being attacked. So that right there should make me drop it. I shouldn't be able to just continue to hold this item. Now you can teleport with these items, that's something that they said, so if you're interacting with a map room or you're interacting with a personal teleporter, you should be able to teleport with these items and come out on the other side with them. So if you get yourself set up and you know where to find these, you could be bringing these back to your base a lot. Let me show you guys how to set this down properly so that it actually accounts for that item in your coffer area. And it doesn't look like you can pick these back up once you place them down, at least in the current version. So you're going to want to plan your place out. But if I come up here and I just jump, it sets it down. However, if I look here, it only is saying that I have one. So what you actually have to do with this is click, and then it's going to allow you to place that properly. So let's just make them touch noses here. So right there we go. We got two cats touching noses. And then if we go over here and take a look, you can see it is accounting for that item in my coffer. And so far, the Black Galleon is the one place that I've actually found these. I'm sure they're littered in other places around the Exiled Lands map, and I'll do my best to put a guide together on where to find all these items. The one thing that I noticed that does not go in there is the Ancient Obelisk. I'm interested to know why they decided that shouldn't go in there, since it seems to be one of the most valuable currencies in the Exiled Lands right now, at least dependent on what items you can buy with your different currencies. I feel like this is the most valuable. However, it will not allow you to put that in your coffer. The items that can go in there are marked with this tag treasure. So anything that says treasure, you can put in the coffer. The last thing that I'm going to show you here is the Metkimosa Spire. Now, some of you may want to click off and save this for yourself because it does have some story related things going on in this area. So if you want to click off, you don't want to see this now, you want to wait for when it comes out, this is the time to do so. For the rest of you, let's get right into it. So as we're running up, we can actually tell that some things have changed in this area. It doesn't look robust like it did before. It looks like things went awry and went wrong. Let's start over here. We have a slaver where you can use your ancient obelisk to buy your slaves. If we run over here, you can get one weapon on a timer from this lady. And then if we head over to the other side, this guy here will sell you the supply materials. Additionally, if we run up here, I'm going to save a little bit of this for later on, but if we run over here, this lady will sell you the black blood tools. And then you can see we are not having the ritual going on anymore. Let's run past over here. This guy is still going to teach you how to do golems and sell you parts. And then this guy here is just a fighter. He's nothing. Let's double check this one. I think she's a fighter as well. If we can get up there, yep, she's a fighter as well. So that's all the merchants in this area. However, right up here, you can see we still have Metkimosa there. He actually is just ahead now. And we have the merchants that are going to take Karok's head. So you can do that as well. And you'll want to have a conversation with Metkimosa here and see what he has to say. Last but not least, in this area, this dungeon is still working, so all you need is the blood crystal to still go in the dungeon there. And for those of you that are wondering where the sacrifice lady went to, here she is in Conan's bar. You can have a chat with her and see what she has to say about what's gone on or what's going on in her life and get a little bit more lore from her. She's just over here drinking with Conan. I think he refers to the beer there as camel piss. I don't know why he doesn't just find a better spot to get beer. Now those are kind of the highlights from the live stream, the big ticket items. There's a lot more going on behind the scenes. I'll put the link to the patch notes in the description of this video. And then I'm also going to be testing live on my channel later today. So if you're interested in seeing more of what's going on or asking questions about what's going on, I'll be live streaming from Test Live right here on YouTube a little bit later on today. So make sure you're subscribed so you know when I click that live button, and I'll hope to see you there. I'd like to thank all my YouTube members for your continued support. Y'all are absolute legends. If you'd like to become a legend, there's a button that says join on this page. Click that for details. There's 2 videos on the screen. Click one of those to watch next, and I'll meet you over there.